well that's the way of the world. This day nightmare begins to face in the wine of the divine. Could you be all you desire will fade away, it's unavoidable. Until I fade up and to boredom to of the art. Before my feet go on better me,
You must beg for it, just obey, then I
wouldn't hesitate.
mercy that I hope, pity I bestow, even for your sword. Better to take me
How about tonight? Slowly through the dungeon says, talking more and more. Turn around, I'm leaning away.
Shibby-dibby-doo impasse. I wonder why, oh why, one of these days just stop rolling down. I
Never expected such a hollow dream. Doesn't seem like anyone's playing right now. He was a storyteller.
I'm home, nobody. Welcome back, no need. All there's about it. Yes, she sold it all.
One particular girl.
Loving a body. Cage goes shining. Held ever tightly. They say she's gone crazy. Oh, how foolish. Unrelated pleasures. A sordid tale of life. No lights tonight. A grim caricature. Too much for me, I'm solving. What catharsis is there? Ridiculous, what a farce. Past is popping like bubbles. La-di-la-di-la. Oh, I could cry. I can't take all this joy. Never running dry trouble. Do pardon me if you please. Look at me. I'm losing my mind.
Slowly going up this, so I'm mighty now. Turn around, I'm moving all the way.
Shibby-dooby-doo impressed, but I wonder why, oh why this nostalgia tears me inside. Whose are these? These tears are rolling down. Memento Mori.
I'm not particular, I mostly just want to play. Inequality, no, well that's the way of the world. Then this day my dear expectation, the one of the divine. If you feast on all you desire, all day away, unavoidable.
You must be
Getting right to boredom too. Oh, that's part of the earth. Time for my feet, go on, flatter me.
You must beg for it, just obey, then I
Wouldn't hesitate.
mercy that I hope, pity I bestow, even for your sword. Better to take me
Have a blessed night. You don't see this kind of matchup often anymore. Turn around, I'm getting away.
Shibby-dibby-doo impasse. I wonder why, oh why, one of these days just stop rolling down.
Someone's willing to watch though. For a bit.
I never expected such a hollow dream out of nowhere. I don't appreciate.
Actually, I think this is a bad idea. Oh, too late now. Let's go.
All there's about it. Yes, she sold it all. One particular girl. Loving a body. Face goes shining. Held ever tightly. They say she's gone crazy. Oh, how foolish. Unrelated pleasures. A story tale of nights. Tonight. A grim caricature. Too much for me, I'm sorry. What catharsis is there? Ridiculous.
What a farce. Da-dee-da-dee-da.
Oh, I could cry. I can't take all this joy. Never really done trouble. Do pardon me if you please. Look at me. I'm losing my
Slowly going around, princess. No, I am mighty now. Turn around. I can think all the way.
Shabby-dooby-doo impressed, but I wonder why I want this nostalgia tears me inside. Whose are these? These tears are rolling down. Memento Mori.
can't listen to it here.
Drifting gently, feeling all in silence. Shadows of the memories tinted in the mist. Prayers slowly staining every moment, like a demon blooming in the luscious green. Seasons come and they go as the world moves on from it all. I hold my breath all alone in the darkness of long ago. Step by step, I climb the stairs of lost time, ebbing now and flowing, faces of the long gone. Walking by myself, I belong to the land of the tears, where I'll find the things that I lost. No matter what shape that it takes, let it be what it wants, whether it be right or wrong. Nights that glow in the dark, and the name so dear to the heart. Someday they'll fade away, all forgotten, gone in the end. Everyone is alive, and the warmth they carry inside lives within every heart, ever beautiful as it was. Deep within me, echoes of the heat haze. There is not an answer, only solemn hush, like a blanket layered soft in silence, in a bed of borrowed dreams. That is where I sleep. Fingers numb in the cold, tracing each star as it falls. Though they may stay unknown, every thought is sealed with hope. May the chance to let the heartstrings come undone always rest beside you. May it always find you. May it always
I forgot I didn't actually have to do this. That was a big mistake.
Walking by myself, I will go to the land of the tears, where I'll find the things that I lost. No matter the storm or the night, shadows in my embrace. Once I catch the glimpse of love, the kindest song ever known, and the saddest wish no
I
one
forgot about the freezing thing. Fuck me. That actually doesn't do anything anymore. Oh, I do have to pay though.
Lives within every heart, ever beautiful as it was. memento mori.
Good fighting system. Blood, it's a fucking AFK RPG. Why don't you go play Path to Nowhere instead? That right there's a good fucking battle system.
Drifting gently, feeling all in silence. Shadows of the memories tinted in the mist. Prayers slowly staining every moment, like a demon blooming in the luscious green. Seasons come and they go as the world moves on from it all. I hold my breath all alone in the darkness of long ago. Step by step, I climb the stairs of lost time, ebbing now and flowing, faces of the long gone. Walking by myself, I'm alone to the land of the tears.
Alright, I know lyric barrier just doesn't bother with double crush. So
someday you'll fade away, all forgotten, gone in the end. Everyone is alive, and the warmth they carry inside lives within every heart, every beautiful as it was. Deep within me, echoes of the heat haze. There is not an answer, only solemn hush, like a blanket layered soft in silence, in a bed of borrowed dreams. That is where I sleep. Fingers numb in the cold, tracing each star as it falls. Though they may stay unknown, every thought is sealed with hope. May the chance to let the heartstrings come undone always rest beside you. May it always find you. Memento Mori. Drifting gently, feeling all in silence. Shadows of the memories tinted in the mist. Prayers slowly staining every moment, like a demon blooming in the luscious green. Seasons come and they go as the world moves on from it all. I hold my breath all alone in the darkness of long ago. Step by step, I climb the stairs of lost time, ebbing now and flowing, faces of the long gone. Walking by myself, I will go to the land of the tears, where I'll find the things that I lost. No matter what shape that it takes, let it be what it wants, whether it be right or wrong. Nights that glow in the dark, and the name so dear to the heart. Someday you'll fade away.
Actually, I know about the discard 2 thing they have. I don't think it realistically matters.
And the warmth they carry inside lives with you.
Yeah, I needed a level 3.
As it was. Deep
Now,
within me, echoes of the
I am very much
years.
just screwed.
There is not an answer, only solemn hush, like a blanket layered soft in silence, in a bed of borrowed dreams. That is where I sleep. Fingers numb in the cold, tracing each star as it falls. Though they may stay unknown, every thought is sealed.
Fuck
with
it, I forgot
hope.
about this.
May the chance to
I can't even
let the heart
use my
strings
last
come
defense.
undone. Always rest beside you. May it always find you. May it always find you. Walking by myself, I'll go to the land of the tears, where I'll find the things that I lost. No matter how strong or clear, shadows in my embrace. Once I catch the glimpse of love, the kindest song ever known, and the saddest wish no one knows. Someday they'll fade away as they scatter free in the wind. Everyone is alive, and the warmth they carry inside lives within every heart, ever beautiful as it was.
That final life first seals the deal.
Memento Mori.
I do kinda like this a little better than the blue-white thing. It's offense and defense in one. At the end of the day, early game defense, overrated. I really don't like Abyss Nostalgia. There's so many removal that happens during combat, during an attack rather than before the attack. That it barely feels like I'm able to get any value off this. But there's literally nothing better. I can try Purple Days again, but it's not a very good defense either, just because it's too expensive. More often than not. Right, I have them reversed.
See inequality in all, well, that's the way you face and all you desire. What fate awaits, unavoidable. You must pay a fitting price, the boredom too. Oh, that's part of the art. Kneel before my feet, go on, flatter me. You must beg for it, just obey, then I wouldn't hesitate. Mercy that I hold, pity I bestow, even for your sword. Better entertain me, have a blast tonight. Smoothly to me and success, I'm thirsting more and more. Turn around, don't stop dancing away. Shabby dibby to impress, oh wonder why, one these tears just stop rolling down. I never expected such a hollow dream out of nowhere. A dollar praise saved and sipped from head to toe. He was a storyteller. I'm home, nobody. Welcome back, no need. All there's about it. Yes, she sold it all. One particular girl, loving a body, cage gold shining, held ever tightly. They say she's gone crazy. Oh, how foolish! Unrelated pleasures, a sordid tale of life. No lights tonight, a grim caricature. Too much for me, I'm sobbing. What catharsis is there? Ridiculous, what a farce. Past is popping like bubbles. La. Oh, I could cry. I can't take all this joy. Never run into trouble. Do pardon me if you please. Could it be I'm losing my mind? Smoothly to the success, so high and mighty now. Turn around, I'm ruling all the way. Shabby dooby doo impressed, but I wonder why, oh why this nostalgia tears me inside. Whose are these tears are rolling down. Memento Mori.
Bruh.
どしてすぐ知ってしまうの都心で苦しんでしまっと更新で古い隕石マッチョか悪くない興味で救い果て感動ちょびで薬食べバットちょひで古見た目暗号か亀によるそして狂いパテラント放置消する陰キャでバンドそして苦しいだけ競争は草生えるどしてすぐ見てしまうのどしてすぐ言ってしまうのどしてすぐ壊れちゃうかなパラパラパラパラマジカカタそれも伸びないボケソリンドしなかったモリホールゲルテミルホルオイルマッサージ100コス足ゆずきゆずこいたたたたたき少し頼んだりに興味がないことを気じゃないことは後は知る知ってることは知らんふり私は終わってる恥ずかしいから知ってるやつらの記憶消させて迷惑かけてごめんねはね誰か助けて死んですぐ引かれとるの死んですぐ引かれとるの知りたくない知りたくない知りたくない死んですぐ引かれとるの死んでくる言い方はと生きたくない生きたくない生きたくないバイバイ29度洗濯ボールナイチンゲールの配信グループ意識交換の名シーン3人ボールでスペシャルレッドレル散歩でくすぐ先早く生きて印象完成習字チッチ
Wait, why is this a mix? When did I listen to it? When did I click on a mix? I just realized. I probably should have put Ravana first. But it's fine. We actually win. Right. My limit got reduced.
YouTube! Welcome back to another Farther Discussion video. We're going to be going over the most divisive conversation this week in Yu-Gi-Oh! On Twitter, of course. Yep, and that is Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It's been such a conversation started, there's been more debate over the banning of Ash Blossom than Olympic gold news. You guys see that curling drama by Canada during the Winter Olympics? What is it with Canadians and legal cheating? Making branded Ash Blossom jokes is all fun and games until Joe Biden has blocked you. Look, I don't know why an ex-president of the United States of America has me blocked on Twitter. It's just maybe throughout the course of the last 2 years, whenever Ash was mentioned, I would tag the ex-POTUS, but listen, it's not important. POV, you used Ash Blossom against the fire deck. There's nothing really to add to. I just thought it was an awesome image. Today, we're going to be looking at this discussion once again. Ash Blossom being banned. This card has been around for almost a decade. 2017 Maximum Crisis, the second sect of the year during Zodiac format. Ash Blossom has been in the game and in the format, and basically, I've seen it in about 75% of deck lists over the last 10 years, either in the main deck
Is my
or at
Sash
least
deck
the
bad?
side deck. A card that isn't really that powerful, but yet so versatile, so adaptable to any situation, and addresses so many different cards and interactions. Add a card? Ash Blossom. Send a card? Ash Blossom. Special summon a card? Ash Blossom. Get caught at the border for dodging tats across continental lines? Sorry, officer. Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom can mathematically negate 4,389 cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card pool today. That is just over 20% of the entire card pool of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ash Blossom can negate. And so one must ask the question, is it perhaps time that Ash Blossom be banned? I made that number up, by the way, but it's probably not that inaccurate. Let's go over some of the community points, arguments, perspectives, break it all down, dissect this topic in complete depth, and I'll be drawing some conclusion remarks at the end. Stay tuned, become a Patreon member, comment, like, subscribe, and let's dive in.
I don't think this is a good idea anyways.
Before I get into the very specific polemics on Ash Blossom, I want to discuss an important concept here, and I want you to maybe pause for a second and ask yourself this question. Why should a card be banned? What criteria are you attributing in order for a card to go on the Forbidden Limited list? If you really just try and think about that question and break it down in your mind, it might create certain paradoxes. You might find yourself being biased and contradicting yourself when looking at other cards. We all do this naturally as human beings. But I want to look at this from my perspective, and let me know what you think about this method. So I think there are 3 elements that dictate the card's necessity to feature on a ban list. Number 1, let's talk about power. That's probably the most obvious one. A card being so powerful that it needs to go on the ban list, right? But what are we actually saying when we say that a card is too powerful? Venomenaga, the deity of snakes, is a card that simply reads, after fulfilling a bunch of convoluted steps and quests and all this other nonsense, you win the duel. There is no card effect in Yu-Gi-Oh! More powerful than just simply winning the duel on the spot, right? And yet, you would never find anyone genuinely asking for a ban of Venomenaga. I mean, I know people hate Habakiri, but it's not all reptiles, okay? And yet, when we look at really powerful cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Historically that have been banned, something that comes to my mind would be something like Christian Hauke Fibrax. Hauke Fibrax is an extremely powerful card, but yet, in some ways, is less powerful than Venomenaga. Yet, what is it about this card that made it ban-worthy? Well, a couple of different sub-elements, and that would be consistency, ease of access, and how relevant that would be into a metagame. Christian Hauke Fibrax basically checks every box you would ever want to create with regards to power in a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, right? Now let's look at a second element as to why a card could be banned, and that is play rate. Play rate is this idea that I think as a community we've sort of figured out from observing Konami OCG specifically, and especially Master-Duo with regards to how they address some cards. What you'll have noticed over the last few years, particularly in Master-Duo, is that there is a huge amount of semi-limited cards in Master-Duo and in OCG. And sometimes these aren't necessarily even just consistency hits. Well, I mean, by definition, they are consistency hits, but what it appears to be, and let me know what you think about this, Konami, OCG, and Master-Duo tend to be doing hits based off of the play rate of cards. Cards that are just really popular get hit. We've seen this with all of the pot cards, Prosperity, Desires. They've all been limited or semi-limited at some point, and usually it's basically down to the play rate of the card. And yet play rate also does beg a lot of questions if we were to ban cards strictly off of play rate. You could argue something like Nightmare Unicorn should have been banned many years ago. Nightmare Unicorn is this generic Link 3 monster that basically every single deck in the entire game would play just because it's there, easy access, and it's non-destructive removal. But you would never find someone seriously saying that we should ban Nightmare Unicorn. The same case can be given to SP Little Knight, a card that is played in pretty much 95% of deck lists, but no one would really say SP deserves to be banned. So, perhaps play rate isn't the angle at which we discuss whether or not a card should be banned. The final one I'd like to talk about is win rate. In 2019, there was a website which was really popular when analyzing the Dueling Book statistics of Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling Book being a manual simulator platform that TCG players played the competitive game on, and it was basically the place to be to play the competitive TCG outside of real-life events. And it had an incredible amount of data and statistics associated with it. And one of the highest win rate cards during this time period might shock you. Remember, the meta is Orcust, Sky Striker Trickstar, a little bit of True Draco, some Endymion, and yet for some reason, the highest win rate card
I don't think they're
during
playing
that
any
time
hand
period
grips.
I
It should be
vividly
fine for
recall
me to prepare for
was
the future.
Altergeist Hextia. Altergeist Hextia had a higher win rate than even cards like Borrelsword Dragon, a card which, when you summon, you would think to yourself, well, they're going to end the game. The reason for that is, for anyone who's familiar with Altergeist and understands how the deck functions, there is a game state where you eventually get to, in Altergeist, where you have overwhelmed your opponent so much with your resources that it usually involves finally bringing Hextia to the field. Now, while you might not win immediately on that turn, or even in the next turn, you have established so much control that when Hextia is summoned, your opponent can't really do anything past that point because you've got all of your different negates in rotation, the bounces, and of course the Hextia negate on top of that. So that's 3 different elements for addressing the banning of a card, and yet none of the examples I gave actually fully explain
I discarded
some of those
a
cards, right?
fucking
But I think
Orc
if you put all of
Cloud
them
to
together,
get an
you can
Orc
maybe find
Cloud.
something in the middle that meets all of these points. And I think that when a Yu-Gi-Oh card meets all of these points, you might find a card that is worth banning. But let me know what you think about this theory.
What kind of removal might they have access
Peep
to?
says, I don't know why we're circling the drain on the Ash Blossom conversation. Yeah, the card should be banned, obviously. Unfortunately, it boils down to how someone feels about the Charmies. If you like the Charmies, you hate Ash and vice versa. But it extends beyond this too. Ash's ubiquity
lot
is
of red.
incredibly frustrating and is aging in a direction towards always benefiting the going first player. Charmies, Ash. Book of Eclipse, Ash. Dominators, Azuna, the new Synchro Hand Trap, all can be ashed. Since Charmies are so integral to the balance of going first versus going second in Yu-Gi-Oh's design right now, that puts Ash in a position where if the player going first has it, they're more favored to win that game than they already were. So what Peeps is doing here is equating Ash Blossom to something like Call by the Grave. There are so many go second elements in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh now that have been designed to help the go second player, which Ash Blossom is actually negating just because of how generically open-ended Ash's effect is. And Call by the Grave is, well, you can go check my other video on Call by the Grave. The point here is that Ash Blossom is a card that's supposed to help you going second, and yet ironically over the last few years, it's helping you go first more. Zelza states, seeing everyone all of a sudden believe that Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring is a problem. I get it. Mulch army cards are needed to combat these insane combo decks. But that's the problem with the decks, not Ash Blossom. Get rid of bridges and insane combos, and we don't need Charmies. So I think previously Peeps' take, and I believe it's something that Joshua Schmidt talks about a lot as well, is this idea that the Charmies should resolve. And because the Ash Blossom is effectively acting like a Call by the Grave, well, these cards are becoming nullified. But what Cells is saying here is that basically the problem is the reason the Charmies were made in the first place. It's the crazy combos, the insane bridges, the unbelievable amount of special summoning in the game that has caused the power creep to only increase. If you just bring down the power level, Ash Blossom is fine because you don't need the Charmies. In theory, anyway. We've got Syriax chiming in here with, yeah, I'm on board with the Ash ban. Make a Mulch Army equivalent. You can only activate when you control no cards. Trying to break a board with 4 negates and interruptions, getting through them, just for them to also have Ash is garble, lol. Very similar to Max C, one of the most frustrating aspects is when you are going second, perhaps you draw one hand trap. Your opponent makes a decent board, and you look at your hand and you think to yourself, okay, I can bait out this SP Little Knight, I can play through this Savage Dragon, I can maybe do something about this back row that they searched, and yet all of that just to be hit with one final disruption from the hand, the Ash Blossom. The Ash Blossom in the hand which, worst case scenario, could have been used as a counter to Fuwa loss for them going first, or worst case scenario is a further disruption for the board. It becomes so overwhelming and just too powerful for the go first player. Steven Trifanovsky chimes in with, Ash should not be banned, lol. How is this even a conversation? It's not even close. It's really not even in the conversation. The amount of problematic Yu-Gi-Oh cards that exist and enable 10 negate boards, are we really going to be out here complaining about a hand trap that stops one whole effect? That's not lingering like Charmies, Droll, or Shifter. Are we serious right now? Okay, well, let's break down this first paragraph here. Triff is saying that out of all of the problematic cards in the game, we're going to be complaining about the 1-for-1 trade compared to lingering card effects, multiple Omni negates, and crazy end boards. And while I think that is kind of an interesting point, perhaps it doesn't really address the core issue. Just because there are other more problematic cards, it doesn't mean the first problematic card could also not be bannable, right? Like, yes, there are cards worse than Ash, but that doesn't mean Ash is out of the equation. Do you see what I'm saying? What kind of a noob do you have to be to come to this result like, oh, shucks, Ash made me pass my turn? Listen, branded players, there are other decks for you. Is this your first time playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Whatever benefits the go second player is good. Charmies are too broken. There needs to be some counter, and Ash is that counter. I saw a counter argument that Ash behind the board is OP. Lamau, Ash? The Ash is what's stopping you? Not the 10 interruption board in front of you? Vela would feel broken behind the 10 interruption board too. Get real. If you think Ash should be banned, I highly recommend my Metafy. You'll get good fast. There's 1,000 other cards that merit a ban before Ash. Okay, so trying to circumvent some of the more delightful language used here. I think the main argument being used is basically that Charmies are the problem and that Ash needs to counter it. I think Selza maybe addressed this in his own post where he kind of mentioned that, well, Ash wouldn't really be that big of a problem if the Charmies weren't needed in the first place. If the power level was so low, a 1-for-1 trade like Ash Blossom might not be that bad. And I suppose the biggest thing you probably should know about Triff on a personal level is this guy only ever plays high ceiling combo decks. So I think there's going to be a degree of bias towards, you know, not liking the Charmies. But maybe he has a point here. Before you ask, is this a hill I'm willing to die on? Yes. But more importantly, I'm willing to fight on that hill and win because I like winning and I win a lot. Is this a presidential campaign in 2016? So do people that don't care about Ash. They win. Their deck plays through so many measly hand traps like Ash, they just ignore it and move on. Thanks. Have a nice day. 3-time, soon to be 4, Yu-Gi-Oh champion. I think there are a lot of holes in this argument, and it's not that I don't think that there aren't good arguments against Ash Blossom, or there are good arguments for Ash Blossom. I just think the way that he's addressed this has been very roundabout and isn't actually tackling the core issues. Like this last paragraph where it's talking about how, like, great players don't care about Ash because they play through anyway. It's like, well, yeah, irrespective of the quality of the card pool, the quality of the format, good players will thrive regardless. That's just obviously been the case with Yu-Gi-Oh! Forever. The best players always do well. It doesn't matter how bad the card pool or the format is. But I'm not sure if that's really relevant per se. April Showers chimes in with, it makes sense to want Ash banned. Again, it's important that I highlight all of these people's biases, okay? Just like I'm criticizing Triff's bias for combo decks, April's bias may or may not be, somewhat documented in a 250,000 viewed 20-hour branded documentary. I'm sure these are not related. The argument is that it's used mostly as a going first guaranteed win card. Either it's a mini-game piece like called by a
they
cross
really
out, or
did
it's a
get
trap card that
disconnected.
backs up
The
your
fuck?
board to make it unbreakable. These are frustrating uses of the card. Using it as a going second hand trap to stop their engine is only a small part of its use these days. Yes, it's okay versus Draco Tail and Raisin, but in general, modern decks play through it well enough for it to be considered not a reliable hand trap going second on its own. So most of its use is to auto-win as the equivalent of a called by or a solemn judgment going first. When it's drawn as a hand trapped, it's barely good usually. Add on to this fact that its use as a hand trap, while weak, is still an uninteresting interaction anyway, since all it does